Has Lord Ashes finally gone crazy? Did he fall off his rocker? Or maybe he had a little too much rum in his eggnog? Because he just came out with plugins for plugins. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's just crazy. But trust me, there is a method to the madness. So let's break it down. As most of you know, recently we came out with the D20 plugin, which aims to replace the RuleSet 5e plugin with similar functionality, but more flexibility so that it can be used for other D20 systems like 3.5e, maybe Pathfinder and other systems, and not specifically just 5e. Now, most of what determines which system you're using, whether it's 5e or 3.5e, is configuration. So the D20 plugin doesn't know anything about 5e or 3.5e. It just gives you a flexible configuration where you can tell it the skills that you want and the formulas to calculate the modifiers, and the D20 plugin will happily calculate that for you without knowing that it is a 5e system or a 3.5e system. The problem, though, is that a few things kind of need more stuff than just configuration. So if you're looking at something like in 5e, a rogue's reliable talent, which says that he can't make any rolls less than 10 for anything he's proficient in, that's very 5e specific and can't really be done too easily with a configuration. Similarly, a great weapon fighting, which allows you to re-rolls 1s and 2s on damage, is a 5e thing that really isn't easy to do with configuration. So the idea here is, instead of putting all those things into D20 and then having toggles to turn them on or off or something like that, which would make the D20 plugin, be very, very convoluted, because it would have to have all these rules for all these different systems. We use a plugin system, or as I've called it for the D20 plugin, extension system. So the idea is the D20 doesn't have reliable talent. It doesn't have great weapon fighting, but we have an extension called reliable talent or great weapon fighting. And if you get that extension, the D20 will automatically detect it and say, oh, okay, I'm using those rules now. If they're not there, D20 won't see them and won't use them. So this way, you can still add on such functionality, but it's not in the core D20, so that if you're using it for a completely different system, you don't need to worry about having that code in there, remembering to turn it off. You just basically add the extensions for the rule system that you want. So to demonstrate that, I have created for D20 an extension for reliable talent and also for great weapon fighting. So let's have a look at reliable talent. I'm going to take this guy here. I happen to know that he is proficient in stealth, so we in survival. So we will run survival. And I rolled a 20, so that's not going to show us reliable talent. So we're going to just keep repeating that until we get a low roll. I'm going to roll here, I guess. There we go. So here, it's telling us that we rolled a 3, and a reliable talent is going to bump that up to a 10. So we can see that note is made here in the chat. We can see that was our attempt before. Yeah, so we can see here that our roll has been changed to a 10 to make that pass. So that is reliable talent. So this functionality here is not actually in the D20 plugin. It's basically, you will install it the same way that you do any other plugin. It's basically a separate plugin, but it talks to the D20 plugin to say, when you are making skill checks, please let me know, and I will adjust them if necessary. So that's reliable talent. Now let's do great weapon fighting. So great weapon fighting says that if you roll any ones or twos on your damage rolls, you can re-roll them, and then you have to keep whatever you re-rolled. So I have created here a fictitious weapon that does 8d6 of damage. Normally, your great weapon would probably do 2d6 or 1d12. This is just so that we can see it replace the ones and twos by having 8 dice of damage. I'm likely to get ones or twos in that set, whereas if I was doing 1d12 or 2d6, I'd have to do it a whole bunch of times. So here we go. I'm going to activate the deadly weapon, Death Cleaver. And I'm going to select my target. And it's going to do an attack, and of course I miss. Well, let's try that one more time. We are going to eventually hit. There we go. So we can see we hit. Then we got here an indication both here and here that great weapon fighting is being employed. You can see what the original set was, and then it tells you what it re-rolled, and then it shows you the final set, which is then what's used in the damage calculation. So again, just like reliable talent, this functionality is not in the D20. It is a D20 extension. Again, you'll install it just like any other plugin, and when D20 sees that it is present, it will use that. Now, all of these features, both reliable talent and great weapon fighting, and whatever other extensions we make, are all triggered by a toggle or a value on the character sheet. So for great weapon fighting, for example, you're not always going to be using great weapon fighting because you might be switching to a one-handed weapon. So in that case, the great weapon fighting should be a toggle, which is what I've got here. We've got great weapon fighting being a toggle. For something like the reliable talent, it is not a toggle, because if you have reliable talent, you've always got reliable talent. There's no situation where you should be turning that off. So there, if your character has reliable talent, you just create a value that says RT, or reliable talent, is on, so 1, and then it will always use that. There's no point in making it a toggle. You could make it a toggle, but there's no real point, because if you have it, you're never going to turn it off. And that's about it. So look forward to more extensions coming out to implement various rules that can't be implemented by configuration, but are game specific. And that's about it. I know these videos don't have great production quality, but they do have a lot of useful information. So please, appease the YouTube algorithm goddess by casting the subscribe spell and then blasting your Eldritch Blast at the like button. It'll really help me out.